Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that wonders what happened to Yakov Smirnov, that delightful Russian scamp who immigrated to the United States but whose career collapsed shortly after the fall of the Soviet Union. Well, Yakov, take heart, because a new Cold War is brewing that is sure to be filled with laughs. I am, of course, talking about Europe Divided by Phalanx. In Europe Divided by Phalanx, two players take on the role of either the European Union / NATO on one hand, or the new Russian Empire on the other. The game chronicles the period between the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991 all the way up to 2019, so it's fairly recent history here, and it takes a look at it in some interesting ways. Each player gets a set of cards, and they'll also have a set of headline cards. You'll also place headline cards atop the board, and you'll of course have a track for the turn as well as a track for scoring. Now, at the beginning of each phase, players will advance the round token. They will also go ahead and play for initiative. So what you do to play for initiative is you will remove two cards from your hand, place them face down in front of you. They will have an initiative number toward the bottom, and you will go ahead and add up those numbers. You will then say what your initiative number is, your total number of initiative. You'll compare it, and whoever has the highest initiative, they will go first. Each of the cards have different actions on them. You can go ahead and take actions for, as I say, either the EU or the NATO, if that's the player you are playing, or you can take actions for the Russians. But there are different things you can do. Now, you each have a number of coins, and some actions may cost money. You can spend money to place a die at a level 1 in a country. This means you are penetrating it with influence. You can also then later add influence if the card says you can add influence. But you can also have the opportunity to build armies and move armies that you can take with the action cards as well. You may have the option to simply play the card to gain more coins for yourself. Now, what you're trying to do is lock down these countries. You're looking at the headline cards, and they're going to be kind of scoring cards. So you want to see where you want to score. So you're kind of looking at the areas where you want to penetrate with influence. You want to increase that influence if you can to a 6. Now, if you get to a 5 or a 6, you're going to go ahead and be able to add that specific contested country's card into your deck, which is important because that will make your deck stronger. There's something of a deck building mechanic here. But ideally, what you're trying to do is get your die to a level 6. If you can get it to a level 6, you can go ahead and lock down that contested country. What that means is that you have the ability to prevent other people from claiming that country. That is your country. However, they can be knocked down with an army. If an army comes in, it can lower that you from a 6 to a 5, and then it can open the way for them to increase their level so they can lock down the country for themselves or deny it to you. Now, some of the cards that come up in your deck, particularly some of the contested cards, they will contain special actions that you can take as well. Now, depending on the number of turn, you're going to go ahead and resolve your headline cards. You're going to resolve your headline cards. You're going to see who scores them. You're going to move yourself up on the score track. You're also then going to go ahead and shift any headlines from kind of their ready position. You reveal them to the place where they're going to be scored for the next round. You're then going to you're going to select new cards from your deck and put them out there as well so you can see what's coming up. Now, throughout, you're also going to have special advantage cards that you can play to kind of help you at certain times, but they're going to be worth points if you still have them at the end of the game. There are also sea cards that let you control either the Black Sea or the Baltic Sea for any of the 3 powers. Now, at the end of turn 10, you're going to score dominance. Essentially, you're going to look and see who controls most of those countries. Player gains 1 prestige or victory point for every country he has that has a 6 in it. Players also receive points for unplayed advantage cards. Now, once again, at the end of turn 20, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go ahead, of course, you're going to do regular scoring for that round, but then you're going to score dominance. You're going to see how many 6s you have in countries, and then you're also going to score, again, any unused advantage cards you have left over. At that point, whoever has the most prestige wins Europe Divided. So Europe Divided it's very reminiscent of Twilight Struggle. It's a two-player area control set in this case Europe. It very much has a Twilight Struggle feel. Of course, here instead of using the chits and going for stability numbers, you've got the die, and you're just trying to hit the 6, which is easier said than done. This game is, first of all, one of the designers is Dave Thompson, who has done some of my favorite games recently, the Undaunted Normandy North Africa series and Castle Itter. He asked me if I wanted to review this one. I said, sure, I'd love to. And, you know, he's been batting 1,000 so far for me, so I was really excited for this one. I mean, I like the theme, and I'm a sucker for a map of Europe, I'll tell you that right now. But anyway, I went ahead and I played this game. And it kind of took me a few turns to kind of get into the groove of it. And then once I did, I'm like, oh, this is actually a pretty simple, straightforward game. It's not overly complicated at all. There's a few little things in here you got to keep your eye on, but generally it's pretty easy. And I got to tell you, it is incredibly, incredibly fun. This is a great area control game. In my opinion, it ranks right up there with Twilight Struggle. Now, Twilight Struggle is maybe a superior game overall because it's a longer game, there's more nuance, but still, this game very much invokes it. And what's nice about this one is it is considerably shorter. This is not a long game at all. I mean, it's a little over an hour, I think, is what we were playing, and it moves quickly. The turns move quickly. You know, there could be some analysis paralysis here and there, but I mean, generally you're on the ball and you're moving quick. It's a good head-to-head area control game. The card play here is good, and I really like the deck building mechanic here. When you get the 5s or the 6s in the contested areas, you get that card. It stays in your deck, and that can come out. You can play that for those advantages or those special actions you can do on the cards. This is tremendously fun. I played this with Han, and we both really got a kick out of it. We both thought it was fun. I think maybe I liked it a little bit better than Han did, but Han enjoyed it quite a bit as well. This is a tremendously fun game from, like I say, a great designer, and I am really, really looking forward to playing this game again and again and again, because this is an intense game. A lot of fun. This is kind of one of those games you're kind of angry that you didn't think of some of the things in play here because they're so smart. And I really like the theme because it's a theme that you haven't seen before. The new Cold War, right? Post fall of the Soviet Union. And the first act is, you know, it's not quite as belligerent, and then it kind of really picks up in the second act, and it's really, really well done. Highly recommend Europe Divided. Highly, highly recommend it. Love the dice. I love how you're using the dice to keep track of stuff. I think it's so fun and so interesting. And there's kind of the toy factor with the dice, and I love using games where you use dice to mark stuff instead of just rolling them. I love that. Really love it here. Highly recommend it. 100%. Discriminating Gamer says, Europe Divided, buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I really do worry about Yakov Smirnov, because of course, in Soviet Russia, board game plays you. That was like his only joke.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Ah! 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 Dang it!